Hi, everybody. So I just wanted to give you a preview of the Hidden History show that we're going to do on Saturday. And I had a huge tune in for Saturday. And this stuff here is kind of miscellaneous information. So I just want to share that with you. And on Saturday, what I'm going to be doing is tuning into what the dome is made of. So if you haven't heard of any of this stuff, please go to the channel and look up playlists. There's a playlist with all the hidden history videos that I've been doing with my friends. And that will explain my stance on the shape of the earth, where we've been living on it, all of that, etc. And all this information comes from my higher self, so that's where it comes from. But, so, according to my higher self, we are in a dome right now, and what she asked, or my audience member asked, about a lot of different ages of certain buildings that are very famous. And one of the things that I want to say before that is that what I got is all the marble buildings with the huge columns and all of that. The very elaborate buildings were built pre-dome. So they were put up before the dome was added to this area. And so they're very ancient, so over 1,000 years old. As far as the rest of the buildings that sunk in the mud flood, which I got was actually caused by a frequency weapon that liquefied the earth and things sank. Those buildings were made of brick and they were built within the dome. So they could be a range of years old. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and go through these different buildings and talk about how old my higher self says that they are. And then there's a few other things in here too that were really interesting that came up. So, how old is the Acropolis in Athens? It was 1,100 years old. And then the Göbekli Tepe, which I'm assuming is a temple in Turkey, it was 2,000 years old. And I also got that it was built by natives. So that came in as well. So humans built that. And then Easter Island, the Easter Island heads, all those little heads on that island. I got they were 1,400 years old. And they sank as well. And then Angkor Wat in Cambodia, I got that was 1,300 years old. So you guys might want to go look these up. And then Borobudur Temple in Java was 2,100 years old. And Table Mountain, which is she was asking if it was a giant tree and an ancient giant tree. And I got it wasn't, but I couldn't get what it was. So that didn't come in from higher self. But what I did get is it was used as a landing spot. So that was almost like a runway, but whatever came down and landed, it was like it landed softly. And then what about the canyons? So a lot of the canyons do look like giant pits, and they wanted to know if they were giant pit mines. And I actually got that they were. So if they look like the Grand Canyon and with all those different levels and striations, levels of sediment, they were actually pit mines of the past. And I get the technology was way more advanced than what we're using now. And they did a lot more damage, obviously. But the Grand Canyon's beautiful now. So she also asked about the Tigris River and the Tigris River basins. So these were the cradle of civilization. And that's what, they're called now. And I got that it was the cradle of civilization for the Anunnaki / Tartarians, the Egyptians, all of the rulers of this dome area, that was their cradle. So that is where the Tower of Babylon was. And what I got was really interesting is that it fell right before the dome went up. And it was part of the way that the good ETs warned them that they had to be in this dome, and they were here to learn, and they weren't allowed out of the dome. So basically this was a punishment, and the existing slaves that they had, the human slaves, they were also in the dome. So anyway, that was interesting. And then the last question was 1,000 years added to our history? And I got that it was, definitely. And it basically, the dome has been up for 1,000 years, and the history had 1,000 years added. So it's basically like they wanted to erase what was actually happening here. And that was done by the rulers of this time, the ones who wrote our history, which the more I dig into it, appears to be quite false. So anyway, I hope you guys have a beautiful day. We are winning this, so just remember that. And just have fun with all those little facts. Okay, bye.